Welcome! We are sitting here in our own little homemade dungeon. I'm Mikkel Mainz.
Yeah, and I'm Andreas Lund Andersen.
Yeah, so you have director of the reward and RPG system creator here to go through the general skills of the RPG system.
Today we're going to talk about the general skills, And the general skills are basically the normal things you do when you're not in combat and stuff. You know, when you want to sneak around, or you want to read up on some lore in game. You know, if you want to know something, if your character is good at talking and negotiating, those kinds of situations that aren't combat focused, but instead are focused on social encounters and physical tasks, and how clever your character is.
Let's just go into it and going through these things, because next episode we're going to cover the combat aspects of the system, but here it's also like if you want to sneak and somebody and then do the other the evil guys hear you and
or do you hear them?
Or do
that could also be another thing.
Do
you hear the ones who are sneaking up on you? That's also a general skill.
Everything here is on the front side of your character sheet.
It's actually the character sheet is designed so that when you're not in combat, you use this side, which is the first page, and when you're in combat, you flip it over and everything is on this page. So that's me trying to make it easy to use your character sheet.
What about the third one? You can draw yourself here. That's cool.
You can draw yourself, and you can put your equipment here, and you can put like your abilities and spells over here. Yeah, and your money. How much wealth you have amassed.
Pretty important.
In your adventures.
That's what most adventurers seek.
There are mental skills, which are like... does your character know something about, not knowledge, different types of knowledge? And then there are physical skills, which are like, can he climb over something? Is he good at riding and swimming and other kinds of physical feats? And then there are social skills, which are, as you can probably imagine, like, is your character a good liar? Is your character good at negotiating? Does he have etiquette?
Does he have that eyebrow that goes up and the other one goes down all the time?
Yeah, all the time. It's like fixed in place.
Shiny teeth. Exactly. Silver tongue.
Silver tongue, yeah. I like that expression. Yeah. So those are the basic types of skills, and just to take an example, when you have a skill, you have a certain rank in it. You can put points into it. Both at character creation, you of course have some points you can allot to the different kinds of skills to increase them and see how good you are. And when you gain XP, you can increase them as well. Basically, you have a certain dice pool in a skill, which is the amount of dice you have for the given skill.
All D6, 6-sided dice.
Exactly, and your dice pool consists of your dice pool modifier, which is determined by how high your rank is, and the stat which is connected to the skill. So let's take an example. Sneaking, for example. If sneaking is a physical general skill, and it's tied to your swiftness stat. So if you had, let's say, if you have a certain amount of dice pool modifier, if you have 2 dice pool modifier in sneaking and you have 2 in swiftness, then you have 4 dice. So if you roll your 4 dice,
2 1s, 1 2, and 1 6. So 1 success.
Yeah, and since you rolled a success, this isn't bad. Normally, if you roll too many ones, that can be bad. But you rolled a 6.
Yeah.
So basically, you had 1 success, and successes are 5s and 6s. Basically that's it. But how can you determine how good that is? You know, what's one success? What does that mean? What does that mean? It basically means that you're rolling against a threshold, or you're rolling against a person. So for example, if you want to climb over a wall, for example, so you roll your climbing skill to climb over a wall. Then I, as the game master, says that okay, that's a very steep wall, and it's a very tall wall as well. So that's a difficult wall to scale. So I'll say you need 3 successes to climb over this. That's a threshold.
That means I have to roll 3 either 5s or 6s.
Yeah, but you can see that in the book. Maybe I'll just show it right here. It's kind of like the table of how difficult a threshold is, depending on how many successes you need. So the other kind of roll you can make is an opposed roll, and that's when you roll against another player or against the GM who's playing another character. So for example, if Mikkel is trying to sneak by a guard who's like half asleep, and then he rolls his sneaking roll.
I have 1 6, aka 1 success, and 2 2s and 1 4.
Yeah. So what this guard does, let's say I say that he has 3 dice for his perception, his physical perception, to notice you with his senses, with his sense of hearing. But because he's, I said he's like half asleep, right?
Yeah.
So I'll remove 1 die because he's not aware. He's really sleepy. He's been up all night drinking or something. So I roll, and I didn't get any successes. So now we compare your successes to my successes, and you had more successes than me. So that basically means that you sneak past him without him noticing. So then if you had like very many successes and I had none, that would just mean that you were even more stealthy.
Yeah. There's also you mentioned if you get too many ones, like you fail. Can you explain that?
Or you can have like a great failure.
And how does that work then?
So actually, now that I think about it, the other roll you made, that's actually a failure, even though you had a success.
Had 2 ones, yeah.
Yeah.
And 1 6.
And 1 success.
And does it then mean I just fail, or does it mean that the vampire wakes up and the neighbor vampire in the other tower, 2 kilometers away, also wakes up?
Basically, that depends on your GM. I mean, if your GM thinks that you fail spectacularly, then he can say that. But usually, I would say that if something like that that you're describing happens, it's usually if you don't roll any successes and you roll at least half as many ones as you have dice in your dice pool. The amount of dice you're rolling. So basically on that roll, since you had 1 success, I would just say that you fail, so he hears you.
Okay.
So basically it's like you didn't roll any successes, or he rolled as many successes as you did.
Yeah. Vampire wakes up, but you still have a chance to escape.
Yeah, exactly. He notices you. Even though you have more successes than him, he notices you. So if you only have like 2 dice to roll with, of course you have a bigger risk of rolling a failure like that. So basically, the more dice you have, the better you are at not failing.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. The better you are at something, the more...
And what if it's the same? If you only have 2 dice and you roll a 1 and a 6?
Then means you fail, because you have half the amount of... you have half the amount of your total pool in ones.
Okay.
But you don't make because you rolled a success, that means you don't do a great failure. It's not a great failure.
Great failure is basically when you want to shoot your crossbow, but you trip, and then the crossbow goes up in the air and then hits you in the head.
or hits your ally. Something like that. Yeah, exactly.
I tried that when I was very, very young. Lost Intelligence. Went back in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
AD&D.
So it was also like pretty young.
So yeah, basically that's it. You have, and just to reiterate real quick, there are general skills are divided into mental skills, physical skills, and social skills. And a dice pool is the amount of dice you have to roll with. And the better you are at the skill, the more dice you have. And successes are 5s and 6s on a die. And 1s are, you want to avoid rolling too many 1s. Because if you roll half the amount of dice you roll as 1s, then you do a failure, even though you roll successes. And if you roll half the amount of the dice you roll as 1s, and you don't roll any successes at all, then things go downhill really fast. And you can either roll a threshold roll, where you roll against a difficulty set by your GM, like when I said you had to climb over a wall, where I say, okay, that's an easy wall, you only need 1 success, for example. Or you can roll against the person if it's an opposed rule.
And if the wall doesn't... it's not an obstacle, you of course don't roll.
Yeah.
Because it's still hard to get a success. You have to get 5 or 6, so it has to be difficult in some sense.
And now I feel like I should tell people who haven't played role-playing games before, you don't roll to like put your foot in front of your other foot, like to walk and stuff. You only roll if it's really necessary.
I take the stairs, roll 2 successes.
I've played with a person who was completely new, and I was like, okay, do we want to go into the tavern, for example? And he goes like, should I roll to open the door? And I'm like, no, that's not, no.
Yeah, you want to focus on the role playing, and it's important that the dice doesn't control the game. At least that's what we.
Only when something is difficult to do.
Yeah.
Like a good example is if the door is open, you don't have to roll to open it. No. But if it's closed, maybe you have to roll to if you want to lockpick it and open it.
If there's a great dynamic in the group and the flow is there, then it can also really fastly be killed with, okay, now you have to roll, now you have to roll, now you have to roll. So it's important that that's this good balance of throwing dice and playing.
It can be fun to roll like soaking rolls.
Of course.
If you're drinking really much and your game master says roll a soaking roll to know if you get really drunk. Or that's an exception.
Of course.
I would say that's an exception.
But of course, these things have to be there, so it's a game as well. But But
that's just a fun thing.
Yeah.
But don't put too many rolls where it's not necessary. Yeah.
You can if you're.
You can if you want.
Yeah.
But I don't suggest it. I don't recommend it, I guess I should say.
Well, yeah.
Not too many rolls. Not like, do I have to roll to not stumble?
It's stuff difficult or something. Then of course,
Like if you want to.
It's good to add to the mystery with rolls. Yeah.
If you're going into.
And of course, this is we're talking general skills here. So this is besides combat. Combat is basically a lot of. Okay, you can do everything in the world if you have stamina to it, and then it's just a matter of coming up with great ideas how to win this battle. Where general skills is more the acting side and
that role playing actual role playing side is usually out of combat. But yeah.
Yes. Do you have more things you want to cover on the general skills?
General skills. Let's quickly see.
I have a frostbolt. I'm gonna use my frostbolt next episode.
Yeah.
No matter what I meet, I will use my frostbolt.
Even if it's a friendly guy who goes like, "Hey there,
that would
what's up, bro?"
That was smart, huh? Now, you're gonna do that now.
Let's see what happens.
No, you make me meet like a frost giant or something now. Anyways, I'm gonna try my frostbolt because I have that.
I'm looking forward to see how that goes.
Yeah. And just to go through, you have riding, you have performance, you have climbing, you have building, first aid, where you have to like heal people, languages. If you languages, is that actually like something where you have to like use hands for language, or is it like
it's
understanding
knowing
something
another,
you don't know?
like different. Of course, if you're a certain race, you have their language.
So we have 4 in dice pool here. Does that mean that I know 4 different languages?
Then you actually, I haven't specified it here, but then you can like specify a language.
Specify.
So let's say that you have a certain amount of dice for language, then you can split them up and say I have 2 dice for this language or 2 dice for this language. Or you can say that you have 4 dice for this one language.
So like if it was real life, I have like infinite amounts in Danish and maybe 5, 6
you don't
in
even
English.
have to roll for Danish. That the language you know already.
The common,
yeah.
Okay, and in French
game,
maybe 1 or 2.
We call it basic in the Tales of Alethrion. It's called basic. The language of the humans is called basic, and everyone speaks basic.
Yeah.
All the races you can play, but of course there are also like gnome and.
There are also some new things here which maybe would be nice to go through, like shadowing. Is that following people, like tracking?
That's when you're shadowing someone. It can be misunderstood shadowing for sneaking, but look at it like this: if you're walking after a person in a city environment where everyone knows you're there, then you use shadowing because you're following him.
You have like a mask on, and then you're like...
You don't even have to have a mask on. You just blend in.
I would take the mask on if I was
blend in with the crowd. That's shadowing. If you can blend in with the crowd.
I take a mask, the mayor's mask on, or like the tavern owner's face. I put that on.
That's a good idea. So another thing we haven't mentioned is upgrades, rerolls, and full rerolls.
Oh yeah.
And these are only really come into play when you have a lot of ranks and skills. When you get really good at a skill, you get upgrades, which are for when you roll, let's say you roll a 4, then you can use an upgrade to upgrade it 1 number, so to a 5, so that it becomes a success.
And also you have luck.
Yeah, you have luck, yeah.
Love.
You have luck, so every character has luck, which is half their charisma score, rounded.
Yeah, that means you can re-roll a dice.
Yeah. But that's only a little amount each day. Depending if you're really charismatic, you have more luck.
Yeah. The gods are with you.
But these upgrades and rerolls and stuff are linked. The ones I'm talking about are linked to the specific skill.
Yes.
So if you have if you have a lot of ranks in a skill, and usually don't have this when it's a new character, because of course you don't have that many points to buy skills. But a full reroll is basically just where you can choose to reroll your entire
to buy
roll.
skills.
To buy skills?
Yeah. I mean to buy skills. And,
to buy skills, yeah.
Yeah. It's the basement, the air is thin down here.
Yeah,
but
silly.
But what about the
rerolls? Are just where you can reroll a single die, and you have a certain amount of those if you have a high enough rank. And upgrades are where you can upgrade a die to a higher number. So you can either upgrade like a 4 to a 5 so that it becomes a success, or you can upgrade a 1 to a 2 to avoid having a failure, to have less ones.
And how do you get those? Because these are the three sections you have at the very end of your skill, and I can see
show it on the screen so they can see
yes
better. And
my character do not have any.
No, but that's because you don't have that many ranks. Because as soon as you get enough ranks, let's see, don't you have a single? You might not have a single one. I will just check your ranks.
How much do I need?
4 for the first upgrade.
And then you can choose one of them.
Yeah. So do you have 4 in any of your?
That's pretty important to know if you build your character.
Oh, here you can see, because you have this is in combat skills, but basically the same thing applies. You have 4 ranks in this combat skill, so you have 2 upgrades.
Ah, yeah.
Yep.
And that just means I can move the dice up from a 3 to a 4 and a 4 to a 5, and I can do that once per day.
You can do it the same amount of times per day as it says here, as the number
2
like
times.
2. So 2 times a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really cool. A reroll, an upgrade to a higher number. or
full reroll.
full
And a full
reroll.
reroll is only when you have like
where you take the whole thing.
Yeah, and you have to have like the max amount of ranks and skill to get a full reroll.
Which is it?
10, I think it's 10 actually.
10, and then you get a full reroll.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Otherwise, I'll have to edit that out. and put in what the amount it really is. I think it's 10.
Typical dungeon master thing to do. We'll just edit it out.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. That's bad dungeon mastering.
Yeah, that's true.
That's bad dungeon.
All right, cool. But I think that was very nice. We also got to cover that because it also makes it fun to get ranks into a specific skill, so you can get super good at one thing. But it's not like I've played a lot of 3.5 where you can get tons of like ranks in a skill, and in the end you're just too good at it. You can swim up against a waterfall, and
and it doesn't matter what you roll on the die. And that I kind of wanted to avoid that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I wanted to give people a reason to upgrade their skills instead of their stats.
Yeah.
Because if you upgrade your stat, you basically upgrade all of your skills that are connected to that. So I wanted to give people a reason to upgrade the individual skills.
Really cool. I think it's a nice system. Also, if you want to play it cartoony style, like in the reward, you can also just make the modifiers less. Because now I just said, used the example of swimming up a waterfall. And of course the dungeon master is the master if you can do that or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could basically just say, okay, you can't jump this high for, let's just say 3 successes if you want to play cartoon style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's completely up to people. They can house rule things. They are more than welcome to as long as they have fun, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And of course that they play in the world of Alethrion. Wait, let me try that again. The world of Alethrion. Yes.
Oh wait.
Yeah, but thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
And we hope you this is pretty basic for the just so you know the general skills of the system. If you are a beta player, or if you're interested in playing it when the physical book comes out, if you're a Kickstarter backer or a patron supporter, or if you have gotten it on TAC already, tac.com/Alethrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but follow the channel, like the video, come with your comments if you have any questions or other things.
Yeah. Feel free to write them down below. I'll check them out. And consider subscribing.
Yeah.
It's free.
Subscribe. It's free. It's awesome and it's fun. We try to put out as many videos as possible. And with the help of our dear patrons, our paladins in the golden armor. We look forward to bringing much more of these videos. And we want everyone who wants to learn a new RPG system to go have fun, play with your friends. And there was another thing. And next week we'll also have a fighting system, so we have that covered as well.
The combat skills. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll be using these figures
because they're appropriate.
Pikachu
Deal with
and
it.
Mario. Yeah. Actually, we forgot to bring our Dungeons and Dragons /Warhammer /fittable characters, and I think that
but it's a good way to say like role playing is about imagination. So you can just. You just have to imagine that
we're an animation studio, so
this is the software.
Reference here and awesome things. Yeah, but thanks for today.